The next section we're going to look at on the proficiency application is skills, competencies, and knowledge, which is a very big section for the application. So we're going to turn things over again to Mr. Chip Blanton for his expertise.
This area here is so important because one, it's a lot of points, and this is a lot of things that the judges are looking for is what skills has this student learned. It's not so much about money, it's more about what have they learned and what educational benefit has come from this SAE. So what we're going to do today is show you, yes, you can go and fill in the blank over here on the right side and tell what skills you learned and explain how they've helped and all that kind of stuff. But to do the best job and get the most points, I'm going to show you what I think you need to do to help have a better application and show, be able to document skills that your students have learned for what's coming down the road in the near future in Perkins 5. You're going to have to say, okay, I'm teaching these skills right here, and these students are learning these skills right here. So we're going to go back to where I would start if I had a student nowadays. I'm going to go back to journal entry. We'll click on journal, and then we're going to go to project experience manager, and we're going to click on the pencil. And at this point, you can have the student describe his project and overview of the project and go from there and do all that if you want to. Or you can just hit learning objectives and go from learning objectives to, we're just going to do a sample here. That'll be our sixth one. We're going to add and explore skill areas. And it's going to, first thing it's going to bring up is the skill area that your pathway for this student is in. So we've clicked plant systems, and you notice we've already selected several here. I think there's 5 we've selected. And once you click on them, they show up, and this is going to flow over into your application when it's completed. So you just click on the little plus where it says add, and it'll flow over in there. You could choose any of these. You can do natural resources systems. You can do plant systems. You can do food products. You know, anything that would apply to your particular application can be used right here as a skill. So we're going to go back here to, we've chosen our skills, and we're going to go back now to the journal, and we've chosen our skills, and here we are. We've got one that's blank right there, and you just fill that in. And this is what you are planning to do. This is not what you've done. This is what you're planning to do. So you fill that in, and then you go back to your journal. And as you actually do these things, you go over here to the little talking head on the outside over there, and you click on it. And it's going to let you say what you actually did. This is what's going to show up in the skills, competencies, and knowledge section that you can choose from. So we're to save time, we're just going to paste here, and then we're going to go back to where it will show up in AET, or in the Agricultural Proficiency Award application. We'll click on reports, and we're going to choose that application. And here under skills, competencies, and knowledge, we're going to go click select from AET. And you click select from AET, and that's what pops up, what we have written in there, and you can choose whichever one of those you want to choose from. Of course, you need to match it over here, and then once you choose it, it's going to match it, and it's going to tell what you did. This is much simpler than trying to do this at the last minute, which is, I know that happens a lot of times, but this is worth so many points. You don't need to, really and truly, it needs to be done. If you're not going to use AET to do it, you need to do this first, so that you do a good job on it and save the time, the rush time for things that are not so many points. And that's the way you do skills, competencies, and knowledge. Make sure when you go down through here, in the past, it was harder to do this part because the 5 supporting skills from a different pathway, when they pulled up the same thing. And of course, we don't have skills from a different pathway on this one, so it's not going to pull anything up. You're going to have to choose from a different pathway and put them on there. Now, if you when you were doing the little journal entry with the pencil, you could choose the 5 skills from a different pathway right here, and it will just flow in there. You'd have it, and you could choose the 5 best ones that you had. If you these kids are learning a lot of skills in your classes, they need to be documenting those so that when your career tech director comes around and says, hey, I need a list of everybody's skills that they're learning in your class, you're going to have them. And I'll show you in another video sometime how to get to those. And it's very simple. You can print them all off in about 2 minutes.
So for Barney, just example again, these top 5, Mr. Chip, they've got to be in that primary pathway of plant science. So one example we use is that Barney Hay is learning to classify plants according to taxonomic system. So in horticulture class, Barney's learning plants every week that he can go, and that knowledge is going to assist him in doing better with his job. With these supporting ones, you think about what we have Barney's project set up with some small engine repair maintenance with the lawnmowers and the equipment. That's a great place to use that. And that would be under like a power structural standard. So you would scroll down maybe to those, and you could talk about how Barney's doing maintenance. And you could just pick some of these that would apply.
You could have also done that back when you set up in the journal entries with the pencil. You could have done that here, and it would have selected it from AET. You could already have that in there. Let's show them how to do that real quick, and go back over to the pencil. And it doesn't matter what.
We're under the equipment repair when we've set up here.
And the learning objectives. And it's automatically going to carry the power structure. So you've already got one entry it shows, but that's okay. You can do multiple times the same one. That doesn't matter as far as the kid goes. Now, as far as the application goes, you can only use each one time, but you need, you can use something that's similar. This is our planned activities that we're going to do. This student is sitting down when he's in the 7th, 8th, or 9th grade and saying, hey, this is what I really want to do. And one of the people that we interviewed for National Star in Agribusiness, his SAE was landscape maintenance, and he had started his own company. And this is similar to what he had there. He was able to, he did it all through AET, and he was a national finalist. And this is the way he did it. And you'll notice every time we go out of one of these boxes, it saves it. So you can see the little blue, what we used to call floppy drive. When you get out of the box, the little floppy drive will appear. That means that you saved that part. There is no, you don't hit save on each one of these boxes. See the little floppy drive came up right there. So now you go back up, save and return. Go ahead.
In this section, this is not what's going to pull over.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be quite as detailed. We're working quick here, but you always be as detailed as possible.
Save and return. Then you go back to the talking head. And then you're going to, at the talking head, then you're going to fill out what you actually did. Measurable results and outcomes. Just like SMART goals, they've got to be measurable. So if you just put, I learned to do a whole bunch of stuff, it's not going to do it. So notice it's got 500 characters. That anytime there's a character count, that means it's going to pull. That's the key to this is going into AET. I mean, this is going into the National Award Program. Anytime it's got a character count. So if it doesn't have a character count, it's not going to pull over. And this, you could say, I change the oil in the engines every 20 hours of use, and each month is timely. It needs to be timely. It needs to be measurable. It needs to be just like a SMART goal. And if you do that, and once again, think about who, what, when, where, why, and how. Try to answer those questions in everything that you do as much as you can.
Once again, this is not the best, but this gives you an idea. Be detailed, though.
Details are the important thing, most important thing that you do.
We're just going to copy and paste this for time's sake. I know it doesn't apply to these other two standards, but once again, for time's sake.
And when you're doing it yourself, you can hover over the planned skills over here, and it will give you some hints. But don't copy and paste them into that, because that's plagiarism. And these will be run through a plagiarism program and you'll be disqualified. So you don't you just use this as an idea. So now you've got that part done, and it gives you some more hints. There's all kind of places everywhere on this thing. It gives you hints and tips on how to make it better. Follow. Go back to your application and check and make sure your AET experiences are still chosen, because sometimes they don't. And there it is. There's the one we just did. So you've already got that. Filling out a proficiency award is a very time-consuming thing. When I was doing them, it took a lot of hours. If we had this, I hope I would have used it and saved a lot of hours. And you can do this on the phone. If your students don't have AET on their phone, they need to get it, because it's simpler on the phone. It's more straightforward. They can take their pictures. They can record notes on there, and a lot of stuff will already be done when they get to this point. And that's how you do it.
Can't stress that enough. To do this over time, or first make this page a priority. So again, thank you, Mr. Chip, for those tips, and we hope that helps you improve the quality of your application. We'll see you next time.